After Tamil Nadu Education Minister Panipuri jibe at Hindi speakers, now another DMK leader has slandered Hindi speakers with a casteist and a racist jibe. TK Elangovan has come out and said that speaking Hindi would make people Shudras.
ஒன்று இந்தி நம்மை சூத்திரனாக்கிவிடும். இந்தி எந்த நன்மையும் நமக்கு செய்யாது. நான் ஒரு பட்டியல் சொல்கிறேன், இந்த பட்டியலை கேளுங்கள். மேற்கு வங்காளம் வளர்ந்த மாநிலமா இல்லையா? அதற்கு கீழே ஒரிசா வளர்ந்த மாநிலமா இல்லையா? அதற்கு கீழே ஆந்திர பிரதேசம் தெலுங்கானா வளர்ந்த மாநிலங்களா இல்லையா? மேற்கே கேரளா, அதற்கு மேலே மராட்டியம், கர்நாடகம், அதற்கு மேலே மராட்டியம், அதற்கு மேலே குஜராத், அதற்கு மேலே பஞ்சாப். இவையெல்லாம் வளர்ந்த மாநிலங்களா இல்லையா? ஏன் இதை கேட்கிறேன் என்றால், இந்த மாநிலங்களில் இந்தி அந்த மக்களுடைய தாய்மொழி இல்லை. வளராத மாநிலம்னா மத்திய பிரதேசம், உத்தரப்பிரதேசம், பீகார், ராஜஸ்தான், இந்த இன்னும் இப்பொழுது புதிதாக பிரிந்த 2-3 மாநிலங்கள். எதற்கு அப்புறம் நான் இந்தியை படிக்கணும்?
Now, this comment comes a week after Prime Minister Modi hailed Tamil and said it was an eternal language. However, this is not the first time that DMK leaders have cornered Hindi speakers or targeted the language itself. The DMK has done it in the past as well. And now, while the DMK continues to malign the Hindi speakers and the language, the Prime Minister, on the other hand, remember, had praised Tamil, and he's done so a number of occasions. Even at the UN or in his Mann Ki Baat, or be it on Twitter, he has gotten every opportunity that he's taken, in fact, every opportunity that he got to praise Tamil and the language and the history that it comes with. But even though when the DMK MP was confronted by Times Now, listen in to how he defended himself.
We are joined by DMK's senior leader, Mr. TKS Elangovan, for his comments. Sir, recently had made comments in a anti-Hindi protest that, very casteist remark, and also raised many issues regarding Hindi. Sir, how do you see that comment?
Yeah, that is what has happened here. That was what I meant. See, between the south of Vindhyas, what Thiruvalluvar said in Tamil is, all men are born equal. When this thing failed is after the entry of the North Indian languages, Sanskrit and allied languages, which entered the south, also brought the Manudharma concept with them, and that was introduced here, and people were divided into 4 classes. I told an example. See, what Manudharma says is the Brahmins for a specific purpose, the Kshatriyas should be the rulers, the Vaishyas should be traders, and Shudras should serve the other 3 classes. Here there were 4 major kingdoms, and none of the kings were Kshatriyas. Because that practice of Manudharma is not here in the south. So if Hindi comes...
Prapanch, my colleague, now joins us for more on this. Now, Prapanch, the DMK seems to have made it a habit really now, to go after Hindi speakers and the language. It started off by them opposing what they called was imposition of Hindi, but it seems like they've crossed the line now, because several comments coming to the fore, even justifications of those comments coming to the fore from senior DMK leaders, where they are going on to berate Hindi and those who speak Hindi.
Yeah, we could see that DMK senior leader TKS Elangovan had made a casteist remark, and he also defended, saying that the people who are north of Vindhyas, the rulers followed caste to bring up a ruler, as in Kshatriyas were made rulers, and south of Vindhyas there were many kingdoms apparently who only selected the rulers based on the bravery, and based on that he also said that the language brings in culture, and also this is the reason why he made such remarks, and this has not gone down well with the BJP and other parties. They have condemned his remarks. Now we can see that it was a 12-minute long speech wherein he speaks about how the language has been influencing and various other issues, and how the states that have mother tongue as other language other than Hindi have developed, and there are states which have Hindi as a language have not developed well. So kind of a remark he had made over in the protest. That protest was essentially, we could say that it was organized by Dravidar Kazhagam, and in that protest TKS Elangovan and in fact represented DMK, and there were other leaders also like Thirumavalavan, Arulmozhi, Subhavira Pandian, Mr. Vaiko who is MDMK chief, and there are several leaders who took part in that protest. So we can see that that was a protest organized against Hindi. It was a Hindi, anti-Hindi protest.
Right.
Now we can see Tamil Nadu is not new to anti-Hindi protest. There have been
Absolutely,
several,
and TKS Elangovan is not the first DMK leader either to have made such comments. Stay on with me because let us refresh the memory of our viewers. If you remember, it was just a couple of weeks ago where Tamil Nadu Education Minister, in fact, had come out and said that all those who speak Hindi do nothing but sell pani puri in the state. Listen.
Anna has told அவர் ஒரு உதாரணம் சொன்னார். போறது ஒரு வழி இருக்கு. அந்த பூனை போகிற வழியிலேயே ஏன்னா ரொம்ப பேர் சொன்னாங்க ஹிந்தி படிச்சா வேலை கிடைக்கும். கிடைக்குதா? ஹிந்தி நம்ம ஊர்ல கோயம்புத்தூர்ல போய் பாருங்க, பான்பூரி வச்சுக்கிறோம், எந்த கிடையாது, எல்லாம் அவன்தான். ஆக அது ஒரு காலம். இப்ப ஆங்கிலம் இன்டர்நேஷனல் லாங்குவேஜ், பூனை போடுறதுக்கு ஒரு வழி இருக்கு. அந்த வழியா பூனை போகலாம். அதுல இன்னொரு நான் என்ன பண்ணான், அந்த வீட்டுக்காரன் பூனை போறதுக்கு ஒரு வழியை ஓட்ட போட்டு எலி போறதுக்கு ஒரு சின்ன ஓட்டை போட்டான். இது எதுக்கு அந்த சின்ன ஓட்டை போடுறேன்னு ஒருத்தர் கேட்டான் பக்கத்துல. எலி போறதுக்கு ஏன்னா பூனை போற ஓட்டையிலே எலி போகாதா? We are learning international language English. What is the need for another language?
I think he has exposed DMK. As Mr. Stalin was saying, DMK is from Justice Party. We all know Justice Party is anti-Dalit. And they have very clearly said that. But I did not expect this from Mr. TKS Elangovan, who is supposed to be known as a gentleman in politics. And in fact, I am very surprised. Even after that, he was saying that he cannot apologize. But he was saying that, this Hindi, non-Hindi, Hindi-speaking states are underdeveloped. So even that remark is something, why should you bring language in the issue of development and all those things? What you are trying to say? Why you bring this Shudra thing here? So this Casteist remark is unwanted for. I think he should apologize.
Now, Prapanch, we've seen on an earlier occasion as well when the Prime Minister was in the state, the kind of comments that came to the fore from the Prime Minister about Tamil, about the people, about the culture, and the kind of comments that came to the fore from the State Chief Minister, that had triggered a big political fight. And now we're seeing another series of comments that are coming to the fore from the DMK, which are only going to give more ammunition to the BJP.
Now, when recently Prime had come to Tamil Nadu, he even said that Tamil is eternal and the culture is global. That was well received across the people across in the Tamil Nadu. Now we can see that there are several leaders in Tamil Nadu who have been opposing Hindi imposition. Now we have to understand that there are two views. They are saying that several leaders are saying that they are not against Hindi or the people who want to learn Hindi. But they say that if the language is being imposed on them, that is where the problem is, and that is why the people, they don't want Hindi. It is now, we can see that there are several leaders who have been vocally voicing their opinions about the Hindi position, because recently, sometime back, in fact, in Puducherry, there was a circular that was passed wherein it was said that certain, in fact, headings and issues had to be in the Hindi language, and this was seen as an imposition. Now, that was taken up by their leaders, and it was said that Hindi imposition could not be allowed in the state. However, we could see that the state is also against the three-language formula. The state says that Tamil Nadu is in fact in favor of a two-language formula. In fact, we have seen Governor in various convocations, he has been saying that the regional languages will be given predominant importance in terms of new education policy. Now, that is the problem over here. In fact, the state has also formed a committee to in fact form a new language policy. Now, so we can see that there is an issue going on, the tussle between the state and center in terms of new education policy and its implementation.
Absolutely.
And also over the language. Now, the language
issue as well as what the DMK has been talking about, that we cannot even pronounce those names because they're all in Hindi, and that really is an insult to the state and the people. But have they taken their objections to this so-called imposition of Hindi one step too far? Well, the BJP would certainly say so. But for the moment, Prapanch, thank you so much for getting us the very latest.